Destiny in the face at the 150. Animo takes the lead from Zaki. Alligator Blood, I'm thunderstruck, but it's Animo clear. I'm thunderstruck late. Animo holding on. Animo this time for the big A.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got Johnny Walter with me. Happy, sad, topped up your Adderall. What's happening? Speak now. Show's on.
I'm back on the what's that pre-workout stuff? So I'm just trying to make sure that I keep myself, I'm just trying to keep it on an even keel. No, everything's all right. Pretty quiet, isn't it? Except for racing. Holy heck, racing.
Bit going on.
Yeah.
It's a weird time in racing at the moment. Let's welcome DK to the show. How are you, DK?
I'm all right, sort of this half, Scoot. I registered lane 5 out of 5 yesterday after the first session with the boys at footy training and kicking the ball to them. And geez, the old footy injury, the old knee, Rico, I had many moons ago, reared its ugly head. So that's not great. But apart from that, all good, buddy.
Are you one of those coaches that does every drill with the kids and sort of steals a bit of the limelight, DK? Is that you? Is that what sort of coach you are? Or you just kick up the end and just stay in your lane?
No. I get the other, because plenty of other dads there and they all love getting out the kids. So I've been doing. I'm first year in the chair as head coach, but I've done my apprenticeship and sort of hopefully I've improved. But yeah, no, it's not all about me, mate. It's all about the kids. So I was just bang the ball out to a few kids and pulled up a bit grubby. So but I got them running. So that's every coach has got your sort of philosophies and all that. Mine's I get them running. I was taught to run when I was young and running and skills. So I had them doing 400s and stuff the first night. But anyway, it won't hurt them. 11-year-old boys got plenty of energy.
That's what I'd have DK pegged at. No balls until probably March. They just get the miles under their legs, the bark coming sort of prep.
That's it.
Well,
all mine know that if they ever beat me in anything, they're going to have to earn it. They're not going to get any participation medals in our household. If you want to win at something, you practice.
Yeah, I'm the same. I never let them win anything. So I think it's the right way to do it, and that's what my old man did with me. Let's talk some racing. It's chaotic at the moment, and I don't know where to start here. But here's a good one that just sort of popped up late last night. The document will be on the screen. And it's Racing New South Wales takes 4 states to court over secret documents. So Racing New South Wales, shock me, is in a courtroom showdown with RV, Racing Queensland, South Australia, and WA. This is just so divisive here. Well, what do you make of this? This is crazy. And one of the key takeaways that I read in this article is that Racing Australia, who's meant to be the peak body, they haven't met formally or barely met for 2 years. And I'm sort of told that it's over the fact that the Everest doesn't have Group 1 recognition, which the Everest is basically a restricted race. If you grant the Everest Group 1 status, what's to say that you don't do it for the Magic Millions, the English Millennium?
Who cares at the end of the day?
What's that?
Like, who cares?
No one cares.
No one cares.
Well,
and
Racing New South Wales cares.
They're spending our money, everyone's money, it's part of the industry, the money that we provide them, punters, whatever, on what? What's his goal? What's he trying to do? It all seems very personal. Okay, he's suing them. What is he trying to achieve? He's trying to uncover what, to show what. Is he not playing the same game that they're playing?
I think 99-year lease with the TAB that Racing New South Wales have put themselves in is a pretty uncompetitive sort of move.
Yeah, everything they do is uncompetitive. Everything they do is restrictive of racing. Every time they put taxes up, all it's doing is shrinking the industry. Every time they allow the corporates more control over how they can control their business, they're shrinking the industry. They're putting a time clock on how long. I don't know if it's part of your rundown today, but there was the restricting of voting, was it, in Adelaide for the All-Star Mile? Like that's if they're doing that for anti-gambling, what about like it's just everything they do doesn't make sense to me. Pretty much across the board. I saw this week we've got property managers being interviewed or something. Racing New South Wales needs a property manager. They need a job. They've got a job for someone managing properties. What about tracks? Have they got a job for anyone that wants to go around and manage all the tracks that we actually make money from? Highly unlikely. So everything's pretty much backward. It feels to me it's a personal thing. Like you said, it's probably something it bears back to the Everest or some sort of personal issue that old mate's got. And, I think his best form of defence is attack, and that's what this feels like. I don't know why or, whatever it is what it is. But I just hate that we just spend so much money on things like this, and it just seems to be to grab headlines and personal matters rather than for the greater good of the industry, which is what no one seems to be really doing a lot to, like you say, Racing Australia should be the one making the majority of the decisions. They should all be on a board together trying to push racing forward as a whole. If it hasn't come together for 2 years, there's big issues there, isn't there?
Not sure who took over from Massara, but he walked away from it. Too hard basket. DK, you got any thoughts on this matter or not in your wheelhouse?
Like Walt said, you boys said it's absolutely tiresome. It's it reeks like Racing New South Wales. It won't negotiate, won't do anything, won't as you said, Massara's walked away of trying to get him to with Victoria and together because they just won't deal. So Victoria's probably gone and had chats, and all the other jurisdictions will all talk to each other, and we'll try and go ahead because they won't talk, and then. It's like, so they're in the room, then they're all around the table, and then Valandis is over there, the kid no one wants to talk to because he won't talk to anyone. And he said, well, I want to know what you're all doing. I want all that stuff because maybe it affects us, and then he wants to take it to court. So it's just absolutely tiresome, mate. Yeah, play on.
And at Group 1, what is it? It literally only affects, a stallion? At the end of the day, a breeder, that's all. Like, it doesn't affect any punter ever. No one cares what the title of any race is that they're betting on. It's all the same, two flies up a wall. So who does it matter to, and why should we be spending money on that if that's the end goal? Who cares?
So who are the stallions that have won the Group 1 anyway? So
just bar them all. Bar all ratings of races. Who cares? What does it matter?
It's a funny one. Another funny one that piqued my interest on racing.com, a little promotion that they ran. There's a graphic on screen. It looks like Ladbrokes are now entering the syndicate game with their brand new Ladbrokes Racing Club, and Adam Hamilton jumped on there for 5 minutes, and they got a bit of a polish from racing.com. This isn't new to racing, I guess. You've got Mailbag Blogstock, who are actually Baggy Bet, and they've sort of delved into that sort of game, which I think is. I don't
know a lot about this. Are they selling shares, or are they giving them away, or is it just part of participation?
I'll tell you what it'll be from what I thought.
Yep.
If I can jump in, it'll be micro shares, right?
Is it? Yeah.
It'll be a micro shares. It'll be like a TRL. It'll be like My Racehorse. You've got a huge access to a broad range. It'll be put your 200 in and then 20 a month and all that sort of stuff. That's what it'll be. From what I was saying, that's what the Ladbrokes Racing Club will be. Buy 3 or 4 horses for $300,000 each and all that sort of business. So anyway, that's what I think it'll be. Well,
if they were smart, they wouldn't charge anyone anything and they'd give it away.
But that's inducement, though, isn't it?
So
aren't they trying to induce people to bet with them?
Yeah.
This is a really murky space, and I'm not sure why it hasn't been stamped on the head earlier. There's all sorts of integrity issues that you just blatantly stick out for mine. If Ladbrokes own the horses, I don't know how they put their odds there. Don't know how they do what they do with their promotions. There's no third party arm's reach deal here. This is they own the horse, control it, control the trainer, can dictate where the horse goes. And what's stopping Sportsbet, TAB, and other operators? What happens if you got a 10-horse field?
Bookies have owned horses for 100 years, though.
That's right. Well, bookies have owned horses for 100 years. Mark Reed owned horses.
Cole
Brian
Tidy.
Mann always had. Brian, when at the races, Brian Mann had runners in Melbourne. Was a big owner of a race, plenty of horses. So bookies have owned horses for years, Scoot.
It's definitely the marketing side of it. That's
that'll be interesting what they do.
Yeah, because that was all self-interest, wasn't it? All those guys just loved racing and raced horses.
Racing. Yeah. It was more. That's exactly right. They did it for the love of it. They loved the animal. Until Reed worked out after he had all that cleaning closer stuff. He worked out I'll just make money out of betting on them rather than paying training fees. So that's where I come from too. Training fees $5,000 a month, or whatever they are now. That's probably cheap.
Five in a bush somewhere. Yeah, it's closer to 10 if you're in the city, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
it just seems interesting that you can control. Like they've obviously got massive scale of customers, and then you can basically see all the transactions, all the bets, have the knowledge of the horse. It's just Pandora's box for mine, and then leakage of information. I guess like jockeys and other people have been heavily scrutinised, but this is mind-blowing to me. I nearly sort of fell off my chair, but interesting to see how that sort of develops. But it looks like they've gone off and bought the horses anyway.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they bought. They said they bought. What's that Great Barrier Reef horse? They said they bought. Is it from up your way, Walt? they bought the tried
I
horse.
backed it to win the Melbourne. I backed it to win the Slipper. It was a Waller horse. It was a Waller 2-year-old. Yeah, it's a Coolmore owned, I think, or part owned 2-year-old from Sydney.
Yeah. So they bought it. Yeah, and they bought the others. But I mean, I reckon it must be a fat space to be in. That was we spoke about the micro shares and that had little issues with that earlier scoot. Like that my racehorse, that Glory Days that won the last race and Nico was tipping on Saturday. They paid $2 million for it. I know they don't own the whole horse, but Aussie told me I was speaking to Aussie on Sunday down the footy, and he said, "Oh, that Glory Days they paid," because he's sort of in the market for it. He said they paid $2 million for it.
If anyone multiplied out what they're making out of those micro shares and the way that the clients are being handled, and they're not being handled because it's all disclosed in a PDS and it's all above board, and that's fine. But if anyone ever actually had a look at it, I don't think they would be involved.
But it's the monetary side is really basically insignificant, isn't it? It's like Sportsbet wanting, and they've done it. That was when their bosses came out from Ireland and took over Sportsbet and everything and merged Mark Reed's and that. They wanted 1 million customers betting $20 each. That was their go. Kill all the big, get it down, and that's what they've done. 10 years, 12 years later, microshares the same. We just want get as many customers as you can, just paying their little $20 a month each, and they don't get if they get $10 prize money profit here, no one cares. They're just in it for the fun of it, and they're just doing socially. So it's a fat space to be in.
It's all well and good until they find the next Winks and realise that the horse has won everything, and then they basically get nothing for their micro share. It's interesting that you talk about Mark Reed. I sort of touched upon probably the last 15 minutes of that little interview with Richard Irvine and Mark Reed. I found a lot of what Mark Reed to be pretty on the mark. And just interesting to see, I guess, his read and I guess the glory days of how betting's changed and what all the corporates are doing and how, I guess, bookmakers have been forced into a position. So I'd probably recommend that anyone with that's looking for a broader view or a long-term view of the game or are interested in sort of the stuff that we've been saying for the last 12 months about downturns and a tipping point in the wagering space, I think you should probably check that one out. We might retweet the link after today's show, but I spoke to Tristan recently and I just noticed it, and it's something, a race sort of caught my eye last week. It's starting to really be relevant, I guess, the removal of top fluck from a lot of areas and then no best of the best. And then I spoke to Tristan and they reckon that they're doing 40% of turnover, what they used to, since he's made the changes. And this is all just downward pressure on these fees. So what they're paying back to the industry is halved as a consequence. So I think the only exception there is Racing Victoria, as they tax on a meeting basis. So that makes it really impossible too to bet bigger, because if you, let's say, for example, TopSport win 100,000 on a Tuesday, they'll have to pay 20,000 of that in fees. And then if they do 100,000 the next day, they have to pay 13,000 in fees. So they sort of get a bit of a double whammy, and they're sort of caught in the middle. Whereas if it was extrapolated over a month, like most other jurisdictions, it actually gives you a chance to turn over more money. So while I guess we often push New South Wales and a couple of states under the bus for their overspending, I think RV need to really address that model and have a look at that, because at the moment, very counterproductive. And you've got TopSport who are in the middle, a bookmaker that are trying to grow their business. They're not a small bookie. They're not Sportsbet or Ladbrokes. They're trying to service a lot of customers and a lot of sharper customers in the industry, which is vital for the growth of the game. But it was stark. I couldn't believe that he said they were doing 40% of what their turnover was. DK?
And that's what he was, and that's the sad thing is that's what he was aiming for, and the decision he had to make to stay viable. I mean, as you said, the key there is that he's in the middle, which is, it's a sad. You're in a business. He's trying to grow his business, like any business, trying to grow it, and he can't because of where he's positioned and the taxes and whatnot. Like, so he's medium to high level. You've got the big ones like Sportsbet and Ladbrokes and things like that. So they've got scale, they can absorb. He's in the middle, and then you got the lower, all the new lower bookies who got a threshold, but they don't really have to grow it because they've got to make sure they stay under that tax threshold. If they get over it, then they've got to pay more, so they can't really grow too big either. Not that they probably want to, but they just want to find their niche. But poor Tristan was stuck in the middle. But from what he was saying, the RV, I didn't know there's such a big discrepancy between the RV and the Racing New South Wales fee model.
It's even worse, I think, because I say there's two meetings in Victoria on one day. You win 100 on one, lose 100 on the other. You pay gross profit on the one that you won on. So say it's like, I think it's 40%, and then 8% of turnover on the one you've lost. So you could, in theory, win 100, lose 100, you square. You do 40 on plus on the meeting you won on, and you lose turnover on top of the meeting you lost off. So I think, don't quote me because I haven't spoken to him for a while, but I think he'd won in theory on Victorian racing for 11 out of 12 months, but hadn't won net on racing Victoria in over a year. Yeah. So that's just, not possible. And the big guys can sustain it because they can. It fits into their overall. The tiny guys can because they're under the thresholds, but these middle guys and Tristan in particular, like, I hate seeing of what's becoming of his business. I hope he's still doing okay because he's really paid the price for trying to be loyal and keep hold of his staff, which most haven't. Like he would have more staff working risk and trying to price markets than probably Sportsbet does, which is, it's up to him, like it's whether that model's, ideal or not. But all he's trying to do is retain his staff and be loyal to them. And I just feel that he's paying the ultimate price at the moment because he doesn't fit in. He's in between. He's in between, and he's tried to do something. And, it's hard to watch just because he shouldn't be in that position anyway.
I've sort of heard reports from guys that are just starting out that they have tried to be aggressive with some of their pricing, and it's just not even touching the side. So it's not really working. And then customers are just sort of, all they want is promotion. So, yeah.
That's, sorry, Scoot, to interrupt, but you're spot on. You're spot on. I mean, I had lunch with, a while ago now, but Juppy, when, he's been a good mate for a long time. And he said, no, every customer's just asking, where are my promos? Where are my boosts? Where are this? He says, the breed of the new age punter is all about what can I get, and sometimes I even say, I lost my money, can I have it back, sort of thing, that's where they're getting at,
I was laughing with Beck the other day. We haven't been to the casino, like we haven't been in America for about 6 years, but you still get the old, I still get the emails of, come and stay with us for 5 nights, we'll give you 500 credit here and this and that, and I'm like, this is what it's going to be like very soon, and it's bad enough. You probably still get 8 messages and emails a day from the places that I'm, signed up to saying this promo, that promo, even if you're not eligible for it. That's the funny part. Half the time you get the messages to say, races 4 to 7 are these races, but you can't have it. I think it's the one thing that needs to be addressed because it is the thing that could bring racing completely to its knees.
Fascinating space, and you can see what happens, starting to happen in clubs New South Wales with the pokies and Dom Perrottet now putting the clamps on cash there. Interesting one last Sunday. Didn't realise the Goldwood Maiden would stop the Racing Nation. Charlatan, Davo and Joe Pride sort of squared off. Good to see that Joe Pride and you sort of had a bit of a spell, and up steps Davo. And I guess as a Sky commentator, surely Davo's allowed to offer an opinion, and he's paid to give his opinion, whether it's right or wrong. I don't really care. But what was even more fascinating was our old mate, and especially your mate. He's still.
I was going to say, didn't a third party try to insert himself as well, or successfully inserted himself?
Big time, mug punter.
Oh, yeah.
He went to the defence of Joe, saying that Davo's never ridden, doesn't know, leave Nash and Joe alone. Mug punter.
So Mug must be counting his horse bike that he rides to work as a horse or something, because to make him
his loyal steed.
Yeah,
C10.
I think it's all fairly healthy. I don't think there was too much in it, really. Davo, like, he just he goes to the end of the earth to defend himself. That's the one thing you do get from Davo is that about the first 50 comments in, he's always replying to them himself, and he's staunch, isn't he?
Well,
holy heck!
Well, I think a little wrestle Royal Rumble style where you have to throw the other person over the top rope. I think we've got different views here. I've seen Davo in person, and I've been sort of up close enough to Mug Punter. I tell you what, it's the battle of the spaghetti arms, the pair of them. I actually think that Mug would throw Davo over the top rope and he'd win. There wouldn't be much in it, but I think Mug would take down Davo.
I think Davo would own him. And I reckon I'd get a price too. And I just keep betting. It's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. It's not even nice to talk about that. Royal Rumble would be funny though.
Just on the horse, Walt, is he, I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
I just had a look at his form and that and see he's a none now. What is he, none from 12 or something like that? Is he looking like a pack animal, like Tom Melbourne style? Like he just won't go past them? Or I know they said he should have won the other day, but he just seems that he hadn't won a race by now. So is he a bit of a pack animal, waits for him? Or?
He's copped a few bad rides, but you'd expect him to put a maiden away regardless, considering sort of the class he's shown at times. So he's definitely got some sort of psychological hold back, whatever that is. But like I said, I know I laugh at people, 280,000, never won a race. The owners will be happy. I'm like, maybe not. They probably thought it had slippers and size producers and champagne stakes in mind at some point, and he still can't crack a maiden. But far out. I don't know. I just laughed that this is over a horse that was, like you say, $1.30 or $1.40, and I think it started like 5 or 6 times odds on now and got beat 5 or 6 times. And so, as a punter for me, this is a horse that I'm gravitating towards and trying to find every angle known to man to bet against it every time it steps out. And most of the arguments start from people that have unloaded on it every time over and over again and try and find excuses for it because, these are the horses that, when they eventually beat you, you just cop it on the chin. Yeah, exactly. But you just got to take advantage of these horses when they come around. And I'd rather not publicly tell everyone that these things are horses that are a bit camera shy because they're worth their weight in gold.
Everyone, that horse with the 3 seconds in a row or the 4 seconds in a row that's always going to go up short and fail. It's just plan A. Just find a way around it if you can. It's just the bleeding obvious. It's going to go up short. It goes up short last time. It got beat. Had its chance. Going to go up short again. It's just plan A is to find an angle against them. Because
they're perfect. They've always got the quality to put themselves into the race. They've always got a quality, but they don't have enough to put a race away. So, if something happens, a little bit of tempo, race, wrong track, that barrier's not perfect, they've got to ride it. They're still going to be in the market, but they need everything to fall their way. So if you can find, a little bit of an angle against them, you just sort of, you bonus the other horses because you know what this horse is not going to stick its head out if it gets the opportunity not to.
They must just head round the bend and just see sources of milk and just lap up all the milk laying on the track. But
there's the opposite. You get horses that aren't that talented that keep sticking their head out, and that's their horses not to bet against. It's not that hard. But
if you didn't have Charlatan marked as a potential cat before Sunday, I think the joke's on you. But let's kick the show along because I'll get in a lot of trouble if we don't keep it under an hour.
I thought we'd gone an hour already.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
We haven't got Trav Noonan on the show, so we're a chance to keep it under the 60-minute slot. The Comics Lounge, absolute cracker. Errol Street, North Melbourne, home of comedy. I think it's not too long until the comedy festival. Absolutely. Nothing better than a giggle, and the best one is hire their talent. So for DK's 50th, you can hire a comedian and have a good time there. So that must be just around the corner. Today's show's going to be a beauty. Don is good. He's getting handled at the moment on the show, but he's doing all right for the syndicate. But Aidan Thompson isn't in his fan club at the moment. So interesting jockey, Aidan Thompson. Walt, you got walled last week. Osipenko, bit of a barrier trial.
Oh, wasn't it?
The market told you in the last 2 minutes that it was in the bin and Af Cabin was an absolute moron.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, wasn't it? And even every horse that you thought might be in front of Af Cabin was out the back. I think he drew 3 Nash and ended up 4 wide and last. It was a pretty talented effort. Nothing untoward, but it had everything go its way. It was pretty funny. I thought the outpouring for Af Cabin after the race that he's the best 3-year-old in the country. Not saying he doesn't have potential to have, great upside, but that was, if you can't watch that race and go, everything possible fell that horse's way, and it won well. But I'm not knocking the horse, but you're not coming out of that going, wow, that horse just overcame every issue and raced away and is the most dominant horse of all time. It was just a glorified barrier trial.
But that's what they were saying, though.
Yeah, it was a glorified barrier trial.
Animo Mark 2, like when he was winning those races in the spring anyway.
There were 3 horses in the race. So Tiger copped a sit, and it was never going to run past Af Cabin. It had to be sort of 3 in front of it and dictating and get away from it. And Osipenko had to be sort of in front of it or on its tail. Neither of them were there, so it won a 1-horse race.
Tell you what, Nico Noonan's ears must be burning here.
We're just
pouring cold water on his blue jacket Af Cabin.
Didn't he slam just good horse in the bloody group chat?
Good horse.
The line or something like that.
Good, no H, just good horse.
Yeah, it is a good horse.
Serious horse.
It's a good horse.
Lovely horse.
Yeah. It's not charlatan, but it's a horse that I'll be trying to find a gap in next time. Don't worry about that.
Oh, it'll be charlatan odds. It's a charlatan. TopSport Steamers, placings, plaguing them at the moment. There was a couple of big priced horses that ran into placing. So interesting bets this week. So I'm sure there's going to be action around them. Make sure you bet with TopSport, family owned, operated, Australian owned, importantly. So no leaking money offshore. Make sure you check out the new app. It's got the lot. It's got all the same race multis. It's same game multis. Got the absolute everything. So make sure you download the new skin, and all the bugs have been ironed out. So make sure you support topsport.com.au. I see Nico. He's got the mouth guard in. He's angry. We've been putting a little bit of cold water on his Godolphin horses. So how are you, Nico?
I'm good. It's fine when you back him. I don't care. You can bag him all you want. As long as I get 260 again, that'll be sweet.
Spot on. Self-interest, Nico. Leads all the way.
I can see your point off Sapenko, but he's probably got to improve out to the mile when they made that trip. But do you think it's still advantage Af Cabot in the Hobartville?
No, it depends. Depends if they're trying.
Oh, there's a lot better horses. There's a lot there. There's other horses. It's every race is different. We'll wait and see.
All right, Nico's going to do Pakenham tonight. Moe didn't really tickle his fancy yesterday, so if you want the Mounting Yard Mail, make sure you snap it up for tonight, Pakenham, and then he's got Sandown. Oh.
What a joke that was.
What?
Can I say that? I know everyone knows I'm not the biggest Moe fan. Like, that was Ballarat. That meeting was Ballarat. The track wasn't up to scratch. The Ballarat's western Melbourne, western Victoria, on the way to Adelaide. Got beautiful tracks from Warrnambool all the way up through the central, up through the... And they transfer the meeting to rotten Moe. Like, they turned up with shit fields. They got what they deserved. Like, seriously, please. Matty, or anyone, please. Come on. Got to do better than that.
Moe for Mondays, isn't it? Monday, Tuesday racing?
Yeah. Shit track. Gippsland horses. Sale's the only joint with decent racing down that neck of the woods. Sale and Pakenham. Anyway, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And they said Ballarat transferred to Moe. Like, don't worry about Warrnambool or all those beautiful tracks over there, or even up the, Swan Hill or Chuka or something. Who knows? And they may be underwater because of the floods, but still, surely they could have found a better option than Moe.
Tadike wouldn't wipe his ass with Moe form, would you?
No, and you know what I did the other day? I fell into one off a Moe run. How do you reckon it went, Scoot? How do you reckon it went?
Head first into the dam.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, favourite. Missed the place. Off Moe. Off a Moe run. Yeah, anyway.
I fell into one of yours yesterday, Santiro, and just was out there for a look. Bloke missed the boat. He was just half asleep. One of your old horses, Paddy Payne horse, Santiro.
Was it out the back? Typical Paddy. Was it out the back running home?
Unbelievable. Could have sat midfield
quite,
too. It's disgusting.
There you go. But Moe. Betting at Moe. You'll be cured like I am.
Start betting in Queensland and you just get handled. All right, so $25 a week. You get Nico's stuff accessed by some of Australia's biggest punters, all on Telegram, so it's beautiful here. And let's start talking about the races because we are rabbiting on here. Sandown, Autumn Stakes, race 2 Saturday, and Blue Jacket favourite. Oh, here comes Nico. Pericles is $3.60, $4.40 Calico Jack, Amenable. Nice little horse, that $4.60. The Fortune Teller $5. Japanese Emperor $12. Mr. Maestro $15. Virtuous Circle, $18. Glint of Silver, $18. Art Zeno, $18. Some promising little stayers resuming there, but the replay you're going to have a look at is probably the hard fit Calico Jack. Nico, tell us why you liked its last start win.
Well, I don't think he beat much here, but this was a strong win. He's run strong overall time. It's a very fast race, and he's sort of done it at both ends. You look at his overall record, it probably doesn't read that great. If you look at the runs where he's sort of sat in the first 2 or either led, he's had 4 starts where he's sat in those positions. He's won 3 of them, and the other he ran second to Climbing Star at a maiden at Cranbourne, who, if she was in this race, I think she'd be near favourite or at least well in contention in the betting. And I think that's something you're really going to take into factor here is the map and the hard fit horse. He probably maps to lead this race, or at worst, he's second. I can't see a situation where he's getting back in the field here. Ethan Brown's absolutely flying. Seems to have the key of the horse. He's rode him, 4 times, I think, for 3 wins and 2 placings. So he seems to get along with him very well. He should just map in the right spot, rock hard fit, and I think he'll be very hard to catch. I think there's no doubt Pericles and a few of these other horses probably have more talent than him. Amenable, the Fortune Teller, but just how cranked up they are first up, sort of over 1,400 metres, and giving him a potential big head start, and a horse that's just completely on the up. His last 2 wins have been pretty dominant. I think he'll start favourite. I think the market's really going to have a good look at him. I sort of think 440 probably won't last too much longer come race day, and yeah, I think he probably starts with a 3 in front of his name and is very hard to catch.
DK, Walt, there's a few of your horses running around in here, or horses that you probably have a good handle on, DK?
Oh, nice horses, yeah. But as Nico said, these a lot of things resuming. The map's the key and a bit of fitness, so you can see why Nico's Angledore Calico Jackers. I know Nico and all the yard blokes have got a big horn for that fortune teller. He's a magnificent type, and I loved his trial. I said to Nico last week, "Do you see that thing trial?" So, but he might, as I said, the map could be against him against the Rock Hard Fit horse up the front, and probably bigger fish to fry down the track. But having said that, they always got told a while ago when horses are resuming at 1400, they're fit enough. Where they are fit enough, but map definitely the key, so you can see why. But yeah, some nice horses who'll make a presence in the autumn, I would have thought.
Interesting jockey book in there. Jay Allen on the fortune teller, barrier 2. Ooh, sticky. Walt, Pericles, this is your horse. So you've got this one up in your dunny door.
Never seen a firm track. Who knows what he'll do? Yeah, I sort of had him touted as one of the better potential horses in the country this time in like a watch on. So if he comes back better and appreciates dry ground, he could just blow their heads off. Yeah, I haven't watched his trials closely or anything like that because I haven't looked at that meeting. But I think sort of 2 trials, 1400 first up, ideal. Middle good draw, ideal. Jamie Carr, probably not ideal, but she's what she is, and I guess she'll probably ride a little bit closer than most would, which probably suits it if you want to back it first up. But yeah, be interested to see what he does on a dry track with. And I've got no opinion on the race. I haven't looked at it.
I like Nico's angle here. I'm a little bit scared of the depth of the form, as Nico pointed out, but just a funny, like even last week and this week, there's just a funny transitioning period around sort of late January, early February with hard fit horses, on-speed horses that can just knock off some of these other ones that are just not quite at their peak. So little bit of a caveat emptor when you can sort of wait a couple of weeks before you can really start to launch into a couple, I reckon.
Dangerous with 3-year-olds because some of them have been stretched to distances they sort of weren't fair at, and they sort of resume over this trip and it's actually their gun trip. Yeah, they're dangerous races. I know the setup you're sort of talking about, a lot of those are like it works in weight for age races because they sort of tend to dominate, and like that Maramia or whatever it was called there in Sydney is a good example of that. But
yep.
Yeah, the 3-year-olds are a little bit more dangerous, I think, I find.
I thought Pericles could have trialled better. And he's coming back from a derby preparation. Seen him last prep. I think he's a real staying type. I kind of had the fortune teller as a danger. Like DK said, he's jumped out really well. I thought Amenable trial pretty average at Geelong. Sort of chased a horse that's running tonight at Pakenham, Aquila Valor, but he's no star and he sort of trialled better than him. So I think there is a few of them here that could potentially appreciate the run, and they're going to have to run down Calico Jack. I got no doubt Pericles, Amenable, the fortune teller are going to end up better horses than him, but Saturday just might be his day.
Red alert. If Nico's not on a Godolphin, I'm happy to support Nico. It's usually horned up the other way. Race 7 is the CF All Stakes Group 1, and Jacquino is favourite here. Very divisive race, this one. $3.50 favourite. I'm Thunderstruck, $4. Tavalu, $5.50. Gentleman Roy, $5.50. Mr. Brightside, $9.50. Nugget, $11. Turath, $19. Colsand Mav, $26. Aegon, $26. And then West Empire, $34. Going to have a look at Jacquino at last start. And we've spoken about it on last week's show. There he is in back, sort of buried a little bit, and just finds a way to win. And you've got Walt's horse there, Bank Moore, just sort of working into the race nicely. Not sure where he's off to, but tell us why you like it, Nico.
Well, I thought this was a pretty big win first up, given how slow they went up front. Like, I don't think the race shape necessarily suited him that much. I think he probably would have been better off if they went quicker and sort of took away a few horses' turn of foot, like Bankmore and Ruthless Dame. They have a pretty big turn of foot on their day. This was a really big win by him, especially late. Like, he's run the fastest last 200 of the meeting, which you would expect, given he's sort of done it pretty easy early. But just his acceleration from like the 6 to the 200 meter mark, like 6 to the 4, he's run the 63rd. Quickest to the meeting, so he's absolutely doing nothing there. He's 11 faster the race in 11 horse field, so 6 to the 4 he's just bludgeoning away. 4 to the 2 he's the second quickest to the meeting, and 2 to the post he's the fastest. So he really sort of elevated that last 400, and especially that last 200 where he picked up and really exploded to the line. Second up last campaign, he did win the Golden Rose. I think he's going to be much better suited in a fast run race. This is a good race for 3-year-olds. Recent winners, Alabama Express, probably a better horse than Jacquino. All Too Hard won this race as a 3-year-old, and he's pretty well in under the weight for age conditions with only 55.5. The problem with Jacquino is he's not a great beginner, so you're going to have to sort of factor that into wanting to back him at 350. But from barrier 4, I think there's going to be every sort of ambition from Damien Lane to get him out of the barriers better and hopefully position up midfield. And that's probably another key to this race is the map. Like you look at a lot of his main dangers in terms of, the weight for age horses. I'm Thunderstruck's drawn 9. I had him back near last. Mr. Brightside's drawn 10. He's probably with him. Tavalu might get led by Gentleman Roy. And then the rest of them probably aren't good enough to win. So I kind of lent Jacquino on top. I think it's his race to lose. Was very surprised I went up $5. He's been smashed into 350. That's probably somewhere near his right price. And I think the horse is going to have to run down is Gentleman Roy. He was outstanding. First up at Sandown, ran a massive figure. He's just tough, this horse. And I think 1,400 metres, having the run under his belt, Mark Zara sticking aboard, potentially finding the lead. Like this horse has won 50% of his starts. He doesn't lie down. I think if he does lead to Volu, which he did in the Toorak, and they have met each other before that, and he led and beat him at Flemington one day. So I would be thinking that's probably the stable's intention given the record. I think he's probably the deadly on pacer and probably the overachiever in this field. I'm not sure he's sort of up to the weight for age standard of a few of these horses, but he gets the perfect setup here. So I was Jacquino to beat Gentleman Roy and probably Tavalu. I think Thunderstruck's got a big task ahead of him. I was surprised he went up favourite. I know he's jumped out and trialled very well, but he did that last prep as well. And I think there's just a big chance he's spotting him a big head start and just could be too far back. And, horses like Jacquino and Gentleman Roy having the run under the belt, they could be pretty hard to catch. So Jacquino on top, I think it's his race to lose. Gentleman Roy, I think you got to put in all your multiples, exactas, trifectas, whatever you want to play like that. And you could probably back both, to be honest.
It's interesting with on Thunderstruck. He's 1 from 7 at 1,400 metres and 6 from 13 at all other distances. So, and there's been a couple of sort of hard luck stories amongst that. So super honest, but there's been a couple of occasions where he's not a small horse either, and he's had a really good sweat. So I'll be interested to see what happens in the yard because sometimes he gets there and needs a real good blow first up, and he has a sweat and a blow. So it'll be interesting to see where he's at, and the market should tell the story there. I'd be surprised if he doesn't drift. Interesting, I thought with Jacquino, he might be able to, based off his last start, I think he can sort of sit midfield and just stalk the speed. And as long as sometimes Damien Lane pops out and then just lets him go all the way, like float back. If he doesn't let him float back too far, I think he'll just be stalking, and I think he's the horse to beat. DK, any thoughts there?
No thoughts, Scoot. No, not my wheelhouse. Thousands of other people have opinions on these races, but it's not my wheelhouse. The Group 1s, I'm with the lightly raced 3-year-olds, and that's better for me. But so I'll just be watching, mate.
Beautiful.
Mr. Brightside's the one that looks like it's a big price. It's drawn awful. He needs a good ride, but if there's a 3 wide train and he's on the back of it, and they sort of have a bit of a tausch. So the early Gentleman Roy Tuvalu put a little bit of speed on, 3 wide train up. It gets the sort of 3 wide track. I thought it's 1,400's much more its go at this. It's a better horse than, probably all of them except for Old Thunderstruck. Jacquino is going to be last inside. Tricky. That's a great race to try and forecast because of the barrier draw. It's sort of put a lot of cat amongst the pigeons sort of thing, hasn't it? It's a good angle race.
Forgotten horse Nugget.
It's probably the horse that could be leading the 3 wide line, I thought, just having a quick look at it. And if Mr. Brightside gets off the back of Nugget, I'd be expecting it to go straight past it.
Yeah, Nugget's he's in the race. Like he's racing very well. He's the horse on the up. He's got the rock hard fitness from the summer. And I think he's probably a horse that will get to this sort of level in time. Whether it's at 1,400 metres is probably going to be the key for him, and whether he probably wanted more like a handicap conditions and wait for age to meet all these horses for the first time. But he does map pretty well. I think it's a very competitive race. I think Western Empire has been 100s into 34s and did start favourite in the Memsey, this sort of equivalent race of the spring where I'm Thunderstruck ran second. So relative SPs and the like 100 to 1 was probably over the odds, but there's plenty happening in this race. Tavalu gets the blinkers on for the first time. So are they here sort of ready to go, full intent, trying to pinch another Group 1 with him? And interestingly enough, he had the trial over 1,200 metres and probably didn't look as dominant or as sharp as Thunderstruck and Mr. Brightside at Geelong, but they both trialled over 1,000 metres. So that's all things you got to sort of weigh up. But I think the fit horses are going to be,
To the fore.
they're right to the fore here. They've both won last start, Gentleman Roy and Jacquinot, and they're just, if Jacquinot can position midfield, it's probably game over. If he's back with Thunderstruck, well, it's probably a bit more level, but they're going to have to catch Gentleman Roy and Tavalla, and I think Gentleman Roy will give you a great sight if you're looking to back something at odds. He's been well backed, actually. He's been sort of 7 into 550. I'm looking at TopSport. So I think $7 is probably the right price, but I'd be happy to back him at 7.
Outstanding stuff, Nico. I'm getting the hurry up from my producer. Good luck at packing them tonight and Sandown, and can't wait for your insights via the Telegram app. See you soon.
We'll need it, punters. Thanks, boys.
All right, so if you're looking to, I guess, take the next step in your form, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. If you guys think that we talk absolute dribble, can't hit the side of a barn door, you can try it for yourself. So puntingform.com.au, easy database to log into, all lives on the cloud. You can store all your notes there, and it's pretty simple. If I can use it, it's ultra simple, perfect for the post-race, as DK has always attested to. Walt, Randwick. Last week, Banana Queen was a bit sick. Us, Penko, we've already spoken about that. Let's push straight into the light.
I thought we were a Lekvard as well. Did we not go that way? I thought we were both. I thought we were both Banana Queen and Lekvard. I thought that was a good result, so I must have celebrated prematurely. But anyway, whatever. Might have been the reverse of the week before, where the Racing Watch guys got the better end of the stick this week. But anyway, we battle on.
You can join racingwatch.com.au for Walt's full-time assessment. It is an eye-opener. Randwick Race 7, In Secret's a favourite here, $1.80, Fireburn $7.50. Almost forgotten that horse existed. Sunshine in Paris $7.50. She's a belter, $9. North Star Lass $10. Madame Pomeroy $20. Revolutionary Miss $26. Wolverine $41. And I won't bother with the rest. In Secret is the dominant favourite here, and let's just jog everyone's memory. The Coolmore Stud Stakes is obviously a barnstorming race, and she's in blue here and knocks off all the boys. You've got Jacquinot out wide. Bonus Notches is somewhere in there, I think, for memory, perhaps. And she's just dominant here. It's big win. Really stamped itself as pure quality, and it was a horse that I probably got wrong and was pretty critical of, or thought she would just kept running around under the odds, but the big boys just stepped in her this day, and it was a pretty easy watch for them. But she's the horse to beat on Saturday, Walt, and the Dangerous Sunshine in Paris. I haven't got the replay here, trying to keep the show short, but I see Barrier 1, Sunshine in Paris. Does that make you nervous? And then Ryan Maloney, not sure how, why, what, where Annabelle's plucked this bloke from, but he's taking the ride. Does that make you nervous?
I believe a lot of the Aquas have requested maybe Ryan Maloney to be on a lot of the horses, and maybe she's just done the old group booking job, which is weird considering this horse could be the best horse in her stable. But he's a great jockey, and I think he'll suit this horse. This horse has not really had a jockey to date sit aboard of high quality, so... And I don't mean that with disrespect. It just hasn't sort of got to this level. And Ryan, you saw he's riding the Magic Millions. He's more than capable. It's just a shame because he just doesn't know Randwick as well as some of these boys who spin around here, every day, just about on horses. So gate 1, it'll either be the make or break. I actually think that win there of In Secret, I think it's important. So first up last time in 1200, Zugotcha got the better of In Secret. So 1200 is where I'm sort of targeting. She came up the back of that, won the Run to the Rose with a perfect run there, over 1,200. So run under the belt, peak performance. Went out to 1,400 of the Golden Rose, beaten by Jacquinot there. Again, a good performance, but vulnerable at 1,400 compared to 12, and then came back to the 12 there, super strong at Coolmore. So both of its peak runs last prep for mine, even though it ran wealth, were off strong setup. So a little bit vulnerable here, I think, first up 1,200. If she can be, I think, sort of 1,000, 1,100 would be more her go. Gate 3 offsets that to some degree, absolutely. A race with not a lot of pressure in it offsets that to some degree. This horse, and it's a wanky statement, this is the closest horse I've seen to Winx in 10 years, Sunshine in Paris. And as in a horse that can just attack the line like nothing. It just doesn't come along very often what this horse can do. You saw its trial was really good. Bit of a funny setup. We're talking about a horse that's won at Canberra, got beaten Doomben, and then won a benchmark 78. But apparently, they bet $21 here. I was too slow, mucked around a bit with it in multiple place because it it's going to eat up. It doesn't matter what happens unless it goes to the line hard held. This horse is going to hit the line. So if it gets clear air, In Secret's going to know it's in the race. I promise you that. And if you're going to take a gamble in the race against In Secret, and you may never get $7.50 again, this horse ever again.
It's just torture for me, this horse. I unloaded on it at Doomben after its win in Canberra, and I'm still not completely just over it, and it's just absolutely shattering. But it's
hard to come back, and it's even say 21 into $7.50 here. You think, well, have I missed the boat? You might not have. Is what I'm saying. I just
you might get evens, and you just back them both and just launch.
That win last start, you couldn't make ground that day, and this horse ran. I think it was one of the top 3 or 4 fastest last 8.642 of the day down the wrong part of the track. It was one of the most biased tracks you'll ever see, and this horse picked him up, carried him, ran away. I know it only had 50 kilos and it was a benchmark 78, but it's just a special horse. It really is. And, these sorts of horses, acceleration, those sorts of things, once you get up in class, sometimes they're watered down. But when horses hit the line, no matter what, it's just something that seems to bridge the gap. And, people can't rate these sorts of things because these sorts of horses you just have it inside them to run over the top of everything that's in against them. And I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but this horse could be something special, Sunshine in Paris.
Maybe just write that down in your black book. Sunshine in Paris could be the next Winx down there, DK, if you're still with us, or you probably got, are you there, or you've got the keys?
What a God, I've never, there's being attached to them and then having a bit of love. That is a, God, wow. Geez,
and I haven't backed it yet. I think I had something on it the day Nick went down. I missed it at its first start. I had something on it at second start, and then last start I thought, well, this horse, nothing could overcome the position this horse is going to be, an apprentice and a board, and you go and watch back and watch it. Yeah, I don't think he even clicked it up. You watch its trial, it just wants to find the line. It's Mark Cruikshank could actually ejaculate at the 200 metre mark here. If I was him, I'd be wanting to just sort of put the rubber mat down because it could be on for young and old for Mark Cruikshank.
Well, I reckon Nico's going to have to transfer his lotion and his wash the towel, fresh thing of lotion, and then send it up to you just in case.
Well, I'm not, as I said, I'm on it for a peanut for the place at the moment, but it's just a horse that excites me. And I hope
you don't get excited often, do you?
I've got no real problem with Ryan at all. I wish if James McDonald was on this horse.
The game's gone, game's gone. He's been telling us the game's gone. And then now he's got the big horn for the ones. Here we go. Good horse.
Everyone says negative in that. 99% of the things I whinge about actually have no application to myself. It's actually for everyone else. I'll survive because I've been around long enough. You know the angles. You can do what you have to do. It's more about the game as a whole is what I carry on about. But this is a rare opportunity potentially because it's in a big race and it's a big price and it's a nice horse. And
are we on the right channel here, DK? We don't make these big statements and comments like this. This is not our show. This is not what we do.
Well, it's not even a race I was going to cover, but the more I look at this horse,
are we on SEN?
I love it too. It's an $8. Was it $7.50 or something? A lot of people. This would be evens. The even money tipsters are a dime a dozen out there. But. Here's Walt with the $8 chance.
Could be a moral. Could be a $7.50
Could be the $8 moral, yeah.
Well, it's plausible to me that the prices are reversed next time they meet.
Oh, Jesus.
Especially if you go to 1,400.
I thought there was an earthquake up here. The table's just started shaking and rising. It's got this big horn.
No, I'm calm.
The Randwick race 8, Animo versus El Bogadog Fangirls in the mix. 175 Animo, Bogadog 850, Fangirl 850, Moanga $9.50, Hinge $14, Ice Bath $16, Laws of Indices off the back of Hong Kong $17, Surefire $34, Durston $51, Caulfield Cup winner, and Vega 1, Tony Gollins just snuck it down there, Arapaho and Stockman. Interesting plonkers and some speed demons here. Let's go quickly through this one. Animo trial outside the leader in blue. Absolutely smoking the pipe here. You got Solcombe out the back. North Star Lass is leading the trial up here and just did everything right. I think Nico sort of was talking about the lotion and towel when he watched this trial. Definitely, he thinks it's come back as good, if not better than ever. and he's number one cheerleader in that thing. So I'm not even going to let you talk about that trial, Walt. El Bogga Dogga 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 Dogga.
The difference with this horse is that it's got 2,000 metre form. It's proven 1,400 first up. It's a 4 for 3 at 1,400, 6 for 4 at the trial. There's no holes in Animo.
Beast. Anyway, El Bogga Dogga Dog, the horse that Ollie rode in the Caulfield Cup.
So
it's in the lime green.
With the whitey,
the white
face with the green with the black stripes. You don't learn much from this trial. To me, this is all tactical. Won't spend much time on this race at all. But the Waller's the key. He's got 6 runners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runners. The only one that didn't accept was the one that I backed pre-post, which was...
Isn't he the key to most races in Sydney?
What's that?
He runs Sydney racing, doesn't he? Controls it.
He does at certain times, for sure. But, I think as opposed to that last race, this is all tactical. If El Bodegon, whatever he's called, goes back, I think Animo will win. He'll just head forward.
This Animo falling in the Cox Plate?
Yeah, this is what I meant. So this is El Bodegon sitting out wide, never handled the track one bit.
And Gold Trip slaughtered.
So if I own El Bodegon...
Going straight past it 50 metres after the line.
You're joking.
Yeah. If I own El Bodegon here, it's going straight to the front, and I think it'll win.
If Tim Clark's on it.
If it doesn't... get out of the gates.
Tim Clark's on it.
Yeah, well, you've got the best gate jockey in the country, probably come out in its head now that I've said that. I'd be having a shot at the title, that's for sure. Whether they actually care about this race or not, and that's in their wheelhouse, is unlikely. It's not the stable that likes to do that, but it's a race where there's no speed at all. It would potentially help the stable to at least set an even tempo, so it would make sense whether it's Hinged or El Bodegon that do it. I think the horse has the speed and class to do it, so that's the only angle I could find in the race, and it's certainly not one like the other race. But Animo ticks all the boxes here; it really does.
Could not find a more perfect jockey to bring down a horse than Tim Clark on this sort of style of horse. This
bring
sort
down
of setup.
Animo, you mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Giant killer Timmy, just absolutely.
And you don't have to go out there and ball it up it and set. All you got to do is just get it in front of Animo in the run, and then Animo's got to get past this horse, and that's the key.
The hard horse to get past. I'm telling you.
I agree.
Even
if it sat outside it.
Did you tip it in the Cox Plate, DK? El Bogga Dogga Dog?
It was supposed to be in the 1-1. It was supposed to be in the 1-1, and then missed the kick. And then was
Animo ended up there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then still sustained a strong gallop all the way through the line. Like, it was a very strong horse, and the bloke whoever trained it in the UK, a good trainer, gave it a huge rap. So this is a very, very good horse. You
cop your right whack for stepping out of your lane, DK, and falling into my old mate Ollie.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Anyway, got Ollied. All right, race.
Because it ended up where it did, it meant Manamo got the grouse. So that's just what things happen when the barrier's open, and things that's what happens.
But he's a champion, Animo. Y'all won't have any other words about Animo. He deserved that Cox Plate. Race 9 is the Triscay Stakes, and we got Norwegian Bliss. I like this horse. Tougher than I anticipated, this horse, and really impressed me last couple of starts. $3.30. Swat's that? $4.80. Written Beauty, $6.50. Cur Royale, $7.50. Jamea, $9. Larkspur Run, $11. Jump the Broom, $11. Pakari Kari. Bryce Airborne, absolutely flying that camp, $13. And that's all we'll talk about here. Walt's going to go away from the obvious here, and Larkspur runs the replay that we're going to show you here, and there's plenty of blue horses here, and it's the blue horse with the red cap, and nice little win this little Group 3 race back in spring. But why do you like it Saturday, Walt?
So similar with all this weird setups, so many horses resuming, it's really hard to line them up, but this horse finally put a race away. 1,400 metres first up. Its run first up last time in was excellent. It was maintained really solid form all the way through its preparation. It's a horse that's never really had soft gates for most of the time. The only time it did was on that diabolical heavy 73 track at Randwick there one day. I think it's not a horse that really had a fun prep last prep, as in it had a lot of hard, tough racing. And I think resuming over 1,200 metres on a firm track at Randwick from a soft gate, this horse can just sit just behind the speed really comfortably. There doesn't look a whole lot of speed, and there doesn't look a whole lot of depth to the race, apart from Swat's That, who to me is the horse that's very scary. What do you do with it? I'm not really sure, but the depth to its forms is really strong compared to the rest. So Only beaten 3 lengths Private Eye. Valana, that ball of form, all ties in really well here. When you've got a horse like Norwegian Bliss that's come up favourite, that's tying in, Cross-Having, Munitions, Astero, Girl Mania. It's nearly midweek form. You would say Norwegian Bliss is the reverse charlatan. It's the horse that sticks its head out when it doesn't deserve to. It's a horse that's bled before, so you'd think it'd be nice and fit, get first up. So it'll run well, but Andy Adkins sort of doesn't win races out of term either, with all due respect as well. So I just looking for, I think Larkspur Run each way is the go. If you're going to play 2 horses, I'd play Larkspur Run and swash that instead. And I just think they're just miles ahead class-wise over the ones down the bottom that might have fitness and that on their side. I do love Picari Curry's a nice horse. Currie's got away with the race last start really well set up. I couldn't really find too many other scary horses. Jumped the broom a little bit, but that horse that stable very rarely has them wound up first up either. So just keep coming back to this at the price. It just seems insane that this horse is $11 from a soft draw, considering how good its form was over the spring.
$3. The slot looks juicy.
Agreed.
So I think that'd be a safe way to play if you don't have a massive.
We're not all about safety here, though. We're all about.
Well, you just have $3 into the $8 moral.
We just go 8 into 11. What are you talking about? 88. 1.21 gigawatts. You get it up to 88 miles per hour, and what do? Go back to September 5th, 1955 or something.
What does Super Multi Man say? If you think it's a moral, $3 is a big price. If you think it's a moral, $8 is a monster price. $11 is a gigantic price. If you think it's a moral.
Oh, I'd say the All Up's a moral. What does it stop you saying it? Yeah.
Declare.
Oh my God.
I could have a moral later. I'll let it go real late in the show. Racing Watch, Johnny's analysis. You've got Telegram or Discord, depending on how crazy you are. Donny's best, no good last week. Oh, rotten day at the office for O'Day Hoisted last week. Buying time, heavily backed. Poo-poo, hang $5 into evens. Poo-poo, no good. Both horses went awful. Not sure why. Awful. Steward's report, probably the answer's there. Let's hear from Donny's best this week.
Okay, boys. Donny here with this weekend's best bets. Pretty bloody keen, actually, this weekend. We go back to Doomben. The track's going to be in the good range. Rails in the true position. I think some great betting will be done, so can't wait. My first best bet comes in race 1, number 4, Rupert's House. It's from the Broome Baker Yard in Sydney. It's trialled twice this preparation, won on both times. Beat a subsequent Flemington winner in the last trial where it ran really sharp time. Orman's booked. It'll bounce straight at the front. I think it'll be tremendously hard to beat. I think the $2.60 at the moment is a spoil. There's only one danger, and that's Queen's Air from the Jack Bruce Yard. But I think we'll be much forwarder than it in run and will be extremely hard to catch. So pretty keen, race 1, number 4, Rupert's House. The other best bet is race 8, number 9, the Big Goodbye. Once again, it's going to find the front. There's no speed in this 1,200-metre race. It'll lob on the front and give a mighty kick. The main dangers are all drawn wide. Big Goodbye has 52 kilos, will lead. Forgive last start. It was 3 wide on inside 8. $4 or $3.60 with TopSport looks a great price. So happy to back those two. It's race 1, number 4, Rupert's House, and race 8, number 9, the Big Goodbye. Also, some absolute morals at Grafton on Friday. No odds yet. Stay tuned to Little Birdie or join the syndicate. Cheers, boys.
Outstanding.
Did you just call it Grafton?
Grafton again. Well, it was. Last time he said Grafton, he absolutely had a fill up. But syndicate starting to get a bit of momentum. 5 out of the last 10 bets winners. So
I thought you must have been having a bloody syndicate day, like a betting day. Okay, it's just not
Little Birdie syndicate, Little Birdie shop.
Okay.
If you want to bet a lot, we're betting everywhere. Newcastle, Ararat, some of DK's little
Crack a fat.
Warwick, Gawler, Kyneton, Werribee, Sunshine Coast, they're all there.
Love
so starting to get a bit of a head of steam up. But like normal punting, we've had some absolute car crashes as well. But last 10 bets, 5 winners. So all the boys are starting to fire. Interesting there, Queen Arms was the horse that he was talking about. Jack Bruce, rich enough, first starter. But Rupert's House, first starter, Bjorn Baker with the winning Rupert. So interesting little bet there from Donny. And I do notice that Angela Jones is on the Big Goodbye, and she pinched one yesterday, and she's a good front-running rider, so up there. So not rocket science. Go to the front and pull their pants down up in Brizzy. TopSport Steamers, again, bit flat lately, but here's a couple of interesting bets. Race 6, number 11, Blanc de Blanc. This is what DK and I'd call a horse. $8.50 at $6.50 here in the Millennium against Learning to Fly from a wide alley.
Is that because James McDonald's chosen to ride it, I'm assuming? It's some weird jockey bookings there. And it's a great race. I don't know if it holds up. I don't know if there'd be scratchings or whatever. I guess there probably won't be for was it $1 million or $2 million race? But
$2 million.
Whoever beats Learning to Fly will be earning it, I would imagine. It's just a matter of, probably if you put James on to Learning to Fly, I'd struggle to see it getting beaten. He's got a knack of getting these horses home, hasn't he? But I'm not going to knock it at $6.50, but I think it's probably tight enough.
Arkansas Kid, King,
Trialled nicely.
Ben Hayes. What do they put Rachel on from Barrodino? How'd they find her for that horse?
Because Jimmy Cassidy said 3 years ago she's the best jockey in Sydney or something. Is that why? I don't know.
Crikey. Race 9, number 2, Norwegian Bliss, 2,200 at 320. Spoken about this one.
Would you like it again, sir?
Looks a good one. Speaking of good lays, this looks like a beauty. Sandown race 6, number 5, 1,000 at 350, Uncommon James. This is a very, very scary proposition. And someone in our Discord chat said that this horse could be 6-4, $2.50, or it could be 16-1. This horse is coming off an issue. It's got a bit of a picket fence. It's won its last 5 starts. Only got beaten once. Could argue it should have won. It's up against Chain of Lightning, Generation, Lofty Strike, First Up, Marine 1, Triple Missile, Argentia, Camel Passer, Rockety Buyer. This is no pushover. It's absolute balls of steel material. Taking 350, better horse. First Up, off issue. Scary.
Yeah, out of my playground, but agree with everything you said on theory.
I think that's it. Any horse to follow? Anything for the battlers at home, DK? If you back one that's gone off that you can just a breadcrumb, can you leave us something down there?
Just a trail.
Anything.
Sniff.
A horse to follow. Anything. Just
Spoke to, who did I speak to? Aussie. I had a good chat to Aussie for the first time in a while, and mate, he's had the worst run. I said, he's got this, he had this grouse horse with, I know we've got to cut, with Trent Bazustin, tried like a Learjet, won by 5 links like 4 times, got a sterner attitude or something. I said, when's that a sterner attitude coming to the race? He said, it's dead, dropped dead. It's going to be his best new horse, dropped dead. And then Solcombe went like a this and that. And anyway, but he said, what's the thing within Moonee Valley tomorrow night? He said,
Moonee Valley race 1, it's number 1 Devoted Poet. So knocking the door down to win. Thanks, DK. We got there. I forgot we're going out of time. And I think Gangitano could be a $7.50 moral.
I feel like I just got shot by him. I just feel like Gangitano just took me out. The original Alphonse has just got me from the bleachers.
It'll either piss in or we'll get willowed. Hope you enjoyed the show this week. We may not be here next week. Could be just curtains for all of us. See ya. Thank you. Goodbye.